all right. Do you want Jordan Peterson? Do you want Atlanta?
Jordan Peterson.
Oh,
No,
God
Jordan
damn it.
Peterson. Come on, we need some. We need some uplift. Well,
Lord
uplift by
Jesus.
downlift. We'll just say that.
Damn.
I'm telling you, the best part of this actually is Sam's Jordy Pete's impression is fucking hilarious. Or maybe that was just
All right, here we go. Sucking the majority reports dick again. I skipped to the Jordan Peterson part.
So now,
Okay.
Michael Knowles recently got in trouble for some words he uttered in relationship to eradication. And that's spilled over to some degree
incidentally,
into
by trouble, he means criticism. He took some criticism, which of course is an abomination when conservatives are criticized. It is the sine qua non.
That's a
the
yeah, that's a good
proof
one.
that
Can you say that again?
we are living in a authoritarian world where you are constrained from saying
Bow down,
anything
Sam Cedar.
except for in front of huge crowds of people and on massive
It's
platforms.
the sine qua what?
The sine qua non. Go ahead.
yeah.
All right, get back to the
Yeah.
clip.
your domain. Do you want to walk us through that particular brouhaha?
He
wanna punch
of
this
course it was the left, and I think usually it starts with Media Matters. I'm not sure who started it this time, but someone pulled a clip from his, I think it was a CPAC speech, where he said that I believe his exact words are, we need to, kind of a similar message to what I was just talking about.
knows
Yes, we
what
want
he
to protect
said.
the kids. That's our first goal, but it doesn't end there. Trans ideology itself, we have to defeat. And so we want to eradicate trans ideology from public life. And so it's the ideology that we're attacking. And of course, people.
Chris, what's the difference between being transgender and trans ideology? Please explain that to me.
The trans ideology isn't a thing, and he's gonna. I'll say. I mean, he says that. He pretty much says. Sam says that like there's no. That's not a thing. It's like the gay agenda. Remember that? It's the same shit. The trans agenda is the same as any other agenda. Go out and eat hot chip, be bi, or whatever the fuck that thing is. That saying, whatever the kids say. And Brittany?
Yeah, did I come back?
Yeah, here you are.
All right. Yeah, my internet's being shitty. It's been real shitty lately.
So yeah,
Very
it's just another gay agenda. It's just another reason to fucking, shit on
That
trans
one just
folks.
like sometimes they can get me, right? Because I'm a dum-dum. So I'll be listening to him. I'll be like, okay, Geraldo, he's making some sense right now, I guess. But this one, I was literally like doing the dishes or something when you sent this to me and I listened to it. I didn't really listen to the Sam parts. I was listening to this and I was like, what the fuck is a trans ideology? Isn't the trans ideology being trans?
No, it's world domination.
Okay.
Grooming, it's grooming. That's what it is.
Why are they so scared that people are going to make them wear clothes of the opposite sex? I would be pissed. I'm always pissed when somebody makes me wear a dress, first of all.
What the fuck? That has nothing to do with anything.
Will interpret
Here we
that,
go.
I think, in a willfully ignorant way. They
Pause it.
interpret
The
that
reason why people interpret it in the way that he's talking about is because there is no such thing as a trans ideology.
See,
Oh, okay.
There is no such thing as a trans ideology. There is no trans ideology. There is simply a belief that gender is a social construct, which he, on a daily basis, reinforces. Hockey's not manly.
Yeah.
This guy's not manly. That woman's not womanly.
She's not attractive.
In other words, the moniker man, woman is on a sliding scale according to him.
Mm-hmm.
It is a social construct. You can't, just because you're a man, you're not a man. You can, like, if hockey is less manly, if men's hockey is less manly of a sport, according to him, than anything else, then by definition, it is a social construct.
All right,
which of
we're on
course
Sam's
is
side.
completely
so-
absurd, and especially because the first victims of trans ideology are the trans-identified people themselves. They're the first ones who are victimized by it.
We care.
So we for their own sake.
What?
They care. They super care about trans folks. Yeah. It affects them the worst, man. We're
know
just
what?
doing this for their own good.
How many fucking trans people you think Matt Walsh and Jordan Peterson know?
The only ones they would know is the ones they hire. But anyway.
Because, like, what do two straight white men know about anything about trans people? Have they even talked to a trans person?
Matt Walsh is a straight up fucking pedo almost because he was sitting there trying to justify fucking 14-year-olds and shit, basically.
So, but why would they know anything about what being trans is? I don't know anything about being trans.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care what that's just all made up bullshit. It's just another reason. It's just another marginalized group they can shit on to keep keep your eye off the ball. With the fact that they don't even have any policies and just bilking poor people and shit is like just powerful people making more money and poor people being cleansed in self-cleaning ovens. Actually, more than I think about that, that's horrible. Okay, so ovens, get it?
I didn't know you were supposed to leave. Well, yeah. First of all, yes. Yeah, I can't believe you didn't get that before. And are you supposed to leave your house when you do the self-cleaning oven? Because I did it one time, and then my apartment started to smell really bad, and I was like, oh yeah.
You have to fucking aerate it.
Be here. I didn't
You
know that.
have to open all the windows. What do you mean you didn't know that? Do you not know smells go outside if you open windows?
Oh, well, I mean, I left, but, like, I looked it up, and I was like, oh,
You
shit.
opened you ventilated the house, right?
Yeah, and then I left.
Okay, all right. Then,
Anyways.
yeah, it's just going to stink for a while. Get some Febreze or something.
I know. Well, are we still watching this?
Yeah, go ahead.
First and foremost, we want to eradicate.
Imagine that we were to say, we're going to eradicate this Catholic ideology, which has led
Straight
to
ideology.
this. No, let's just say the Catholic ideology, which has led to, in Illinois, at least a couple of thousand, in Maryland, another 1,000, in Boston, maybe another 1,000 more, maybe, of these cases of pedophilia. We're going to save the Catholics from this ideology. They're the first victims.
Mm-hmm.
They are the first. Imagine if you said that.
I don't know. I'm not going with him on this equivalency here. I get what he's saying, and I agree with him, but it's a weird hypothetical.
You just said you agree with it. What are you talking about?
No, I agree with him, but like talking about I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, I don't
What
understand.
are you going to do if you're going to
Saying eradicating Catholic people because they're pedophiles.
No, that's not what. That's not what he's saying.
get
right,
rid
let's keep
of
going.
the Catholic ideology? What is it you're going to do? What ideology do you think the Nazis were trying to get rid of when they got rid of the Jewish ideology? Right?
What were the Catholics doing when they went into different parts of the world that the West had colonized and
Crusades? Come
forced
on.
their ideology onto people there? I mean, you can look very much like into eradication of an ideology in service of another and see what deadly consequences that has.
Continue.
This ideology, but obviously there's nothing genocidal there. The real genocide, and I gave a college talk recently where I tried to make this case that going back to the suicide epidemic, which is a real problem among trans-identified people. But the real
He's so
genocide
gross. So
when it comes to trans-identified people is it's like a self-genocide. It is a community erasing itself.
Well, it's even more demented
Was it
than
Matt
that.
Walsh the one that said that like if transgender people can't procreate, then they're a dying species? Like
Species. That's not the right word.
not species, but like a dying
Group or
breed. Yeah.
No, breed's
When
not good.
when that's like not how transgender works. Being
It doesn't.
transgender works.
Jordy Peets is off the benzos, destroyed him, and the all meat diet and the coma has completely destroyed his fucking brain. This motherfucker is crazy. He's a lunatic, man. Listen to the man talk. He's just stringing words together.
All right,
I would say. We've been fed this activist nonsense nonstop at an ever accelerating rate for 30 years that
30.
the LGBT ever expanding alphabet domain is a community.
Okay,
Now, first
Pop
of
Pop.
all, it's not a community at all. A community is
How would you know that? You are not in the community. How would you know that?
based on a set of shared practices, let's say, and shared institutions and shared values, let's say, and not merely on a set of infinitely expandable, subjectively identified proclivities.
Pause. Okay,
so-
okay. He is arguing that there is no.
I kind of don't want to hear Sam's take. Sam's take is our take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. I was just here for. Yeah, I usually just watch the clips. He was just so good in this that I forget.
Yeah.
Because when it's just them, Emma, and the I'm like, oh god, let me skip right to the.
Oh yeah, I will
'Cause-
watch it if they're talking about something I want to hear. But yeah, it's not.
Nah,
the
they're no.
best.
I just don't like them.
Let's see.
I'm
Let's see
sorry.
what they.
I'm sorry,
end up.
Emma. I love you, but I just you're boring. I'm sorry.
God, her and Anna are the same person. I swear to God.
No, they're not. Anna's actually engaging. But anyway, go ahead.
Kind in the
You're
world,
right, okay.
and was also the lead editor of the most prominent scientific journal dealing with transgender matters. So Zucker was actually as close to a reasonable scientific ally of the transgender community as had ever emerged. And what he observed as a consequence of his decades of work was that, first of all, the best thing to do with kids with body dysmorphia was to just leave them the hell alone till they were 18. And the reason for that was, well, first of all, the first reason was that about 80% of them ended up gay. And so part of the reason they were bodily dysmorphic when they were very young is because they were homosexual, and there was some tension between their emerging sexual proclivity and their biological reality, at least in contrast
Spit
to
it
what
out,
was
man.
normal.
Come on.
80% of
Okay,
them
so
would grow up.
now he just conceded that there was a time
You can
where the
skip.
normative values, i.e.,
I kind of want to hear it said, but
Well, make up your mind. You just said you didn't.
no, I'm sorry. Tell me
on,
what
man.
to say on my own podcast, Sam, please. On my own live show.
He's the godfather of leftist podcast.
Yeah, he totally is. I mean, how many transgender kids are getting all these operations done at under the age of 18?
You know, all these things you're asking me, you don't go watch that whole thing because he literally just says something after that about.
Oh, Sam?
Yeah.
Oh, because you made me watch it, so I'm probably like thinking of stuff in my head too. Yeah, I don't think kids are.
It's all bullshit. It's just
From what I understand too, transgender people don't usually get the bottom surgery because it's super difficult and expensive, right?
trans men don't usually. Trans women will, because it's
Oh, is it
more-
easier?
Yeah, it's easier to make a vagina than it is to build a penis, basically. If you look, because I don't want to sit
Okay.
here because I'm not trans and I don't want to make it look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I do
not.
know that it's kind of an awkward and it doesn't look quite right, and it doesn't necessarily help with dysmorphia. If you know. your
Yeah,
shit
so
don't-
like bottom surgery for me, I don't even like think about bottom surgery or like consider that as any part of this. So it'd just be like getting boobs or cutting your boobs off. What's the big problem with that?
Well, that's a mastectomy. That's another part of the trans men thing. That's Ellie Page.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like most trans men do the top surgery, or it seems like they all do the top surgery. 'cause
Well,
it's
I
easy.
mean, and it's not trans necessarily. It could be non-binary. There's a whole, maybe you, for whatever reason, maybe you're not really super dysmorphic, but maybe you're just, I don't know. Who gives a shit? As long as you're a grown ass person, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter.
But yeah, they're both pieces of shit. And I was 1,000 yards away from that fucker at one point.
Matt Walsh or
yeah,
Jordan
Matt
Peterson?
Walsh was fucking downtown doing that fucking rally or whatever the fuck. And
I
it
don't
was
want
just
to. I don't know what it is, but like, I don't like Matt Walsh, but for some reason I don't want to hit him as hard as I want to hit the
I
other
don't
people.
think I can't. I mean, I
I'm
don't
still
know,
gonna hit him
man,
hard.
but I mean, there were actually not that many people showed up, and there was lots of counter protesters.
Yeah,
All those weird blue hair people, you know.
yeah. Speaking of that, let's watch this clip about the Glendale school board meetings. Have you heard about this?